In this lesson, I'll show you 3 examples on how to divide by long division. Before we start, it might help to know some terminology. If we're asked, let's say, to divide 16 divided by 3, or 16 over 3, the 3 here is called our divisor. I'll write that down for you. Whereas the number at the top is called the dividend. The answer that you end up with is called the quotient. So whatever this is equal to is called the quotient. Let's get started with question number 1. Divide 640 by 4. The first number that they tell us is always the dividend, and this number is the divisor. So we take our divisor 4, and we write down 640 underneath this line. Now, you ask yourself, how many times does 4 fit into 6 without going over? In other words, what can I multiply 4 by to its maximum without going over 6? You can multiply it by 1, that will give you 4. If you multiply it by 2, that will give you 8, so you can't choose 2. We choose 1, we place it right on top of the 6. 1 times 4 is 4, we write that underneath the 6, and now we subtract. 6 minus 4 is equal to 2. We then take the next number, the 4, and we place it right beside the 2. Now you ask yourself, how many times does 4 fit into 24? Before it was 4 into 6, now it's 24. If you know your multiplication tables well, it really helps, because 4 times 6 is equal to 24. We place that number 6 right here. 6 times 4 is 24, as I just mentioned. We subtract. 24 minus 24 is equal to 0. Finally, this last 0 gets placed underneath. And now we ask, how many times does 4 fit into 0? The answer to that is 0. So we place a 0 right beside the 6. 4 times 0 is 0, and we can go ahead and write that underneath, but it doesn't really matter. So our answer here, our quotient, is 160. Let's move on to question number 2. In question number 2, we're asked to divide 1026 by 6. The number 6 is our divisor, as was 4 in the previous example, and this is our dividend. Let's go ahead and set this up. We have 6 and 1026 in here. Now, how many times does this 6 fit into 1? It doesn't. So you group the next number with it. How many times does 6 fit into 10? Once. 1 times 6 is equal to 6. 10 minus 6 is equal to 4. We bring down this 2. How many times does 6 fit into 42? The answer to this one is 7, and it fits perfectly. 7 times 6 is 42. Subtracting these two gives us 0. And finally, we bring the 6 down. 6 fits into 6 once. 1 times 6 is 6. And the answer is 0. In our last question, we want to divide 1980 by 15. For the first time, we have a divisor that is double digits, 15. 1980 goes inside here. 15 does not fit into 1, so we'll group these two numbers together. But 15 does fit into 19 once. 1 times 15 is 15. Subtracting these two gives us 4. If we bring the 8 down, we now have 48. Now we have to determine how many times 15 fits into 48. 15 times 2 is 30. Times 3 is 45. Anything over 3 is greater than 48, so 3 is the one we choose. 3 times 15 is 45. Subtract 48 from 45 gives us 3. And finally, if we bring the 0 down, 15 fits into 30 twice. 2 times 15 is equal to 30. Subtracting these two gives us a remainder of nothing, and our quotient is 132. And so there you have it. 3 examples on how to divide by long division.